This is the Free Lunch Podcast, where facts are facts and bread is bread.
A number of things. So what I want to do is I want to go around and I want to see what is probably the most, maybe not even surprising, but something that like kind of alarms you or something that has gotten your attention the most through the riots. And I'll start with Sean. I'm gonna start with you.
The biggest thing that stands out about the riots is people are not paying attention to the reason and emotion behind it. The narrative is that it's a bunch of mindless thugs out there just, wilding out, losing their minds. That's not the case. Like you said, most of the protests are peaceful, but it's a few that riot and loot and all that. And even though I don't necessarily agree with it, it wouldn't be something that I would do. I can't condemn it because I understand it. I understand where that raw emotion comes from because I feel it too. People choose to focus on the negatives instead of focusing on the issue. And the issue is that people are tired of this. Like, it keeps happening again and again and again. We had George Floyd, Ahmaud, and what's the girl's name from Louisville? Breonna, that got shot.
Breonna Taylor.
Yeah. Like, there's no excuse for that. Number one, they entered the wrong apartment. Number two, they shot the girl dead while she was laying in her bed asleep. Like, there's no reasoning. There's no excuse. Ahmaud, even though like videos came out, okay, he was walking through a construction site. Okay, cool. Should he lost his life behind that? And then as civilians, okay, citizens arrest, that's a thing, but you don't have the right to just shoot random civilians. That's not within your right. And we already went over the George Floyd thing. There's no excuse. The other big misconception is that Black Lives Matter is the anti-police movement. That's not the case. I think most people understand that the police is a very critical part of our society. The purpose behind police officers are to keep order within our society, keep things under control. And that's not our issue. The police is not the issue. It's the lack of accountability. And okay, not all cops are bad, but there's a lot of cops that just stand by and let stuff happen. For example, with the George Floyd case, there are 3 other cops there for 8 minutes that watched the man knee on his neck, heard him beg for his life, saying that he can't breathe. None of them said a word. None of them did anything to stop it. They all just let that go on, and that's a problem too. So it's the lack of accountability that's the biggest problem. People just want justice, and they want equality, and they want peace. That's all. And their voice aren't getting heard. So that's why things are as intense as they are, because this keeps happening. It's a repeated narrative over and over and over again. So.
No, I'm right there. I'm right there with you, bro. Sam, what is something that it has gotten your attention throughout, like, again, the riots and things that you're seeing on social media? Like, what's the thing that is either standing out to you the most, or the thing that's like maybe frustrating you the most?
I'm gonna go 2 sides of it. I'm gonna go a serious matter and like a little lighter matter. The serious matter is people are like, you don't have to do this. Well, give me an option. Y'all can peacefully protest. You know how long we've been doing that? Peacefully protesting, finding different outlets and creative measures of trying to show how we feel about a certain topic and bring a light to a certain situation, and y'all just getting mad. The presidents of the United States called, NFL players son of a bitches for kneeling to bring light to police brutality. You know what I mean? If the head honcho of the United States is calling you a son of a bitch for kneeling because you're bringing, awareness to a certain situation, what do you think everybody else that followed him is going to do? If my president called you something, bitch, then that give me something right to call you whatever. Like, fuck your opinion, this, that. So I'm surprised people are surprised that these violent riotings are happening. I knew this was coming. They're like I said, this is like me. This riot. I feel like this whole situation is like me as a person. Like I'm only gonna take so much, and not even just me, just anybody. You can only gonna take so much until all right, cool. I'm gonna snap. It's over. And then if I snap, oh, you're acting crazy and you're that. Well, did you ever think about all the other things that led up to this event? No, they don't think about that. They're thinking about what's going on now. And now they're going to paint this, the narrative. Oh, they're going crazy. They're damaging, public goods. They're just rioting just to riot it. No, like Sean said, we're angry. We're frustrated. Here's the agenda, and here's the focus that we need to. You have not been hearing our voice by doing this peaceful protest. Okay, cool. We're going to fuck shit up now. All right, you going to listen now? And the crazy part is, if they don't listen now, I feel like it's going to get crazier. Like, people just thinking, oh, the stores are going, Target is going. Y'all can replace a Target. Y'all can't get that man's life back. All that stuff y'all worried about, that's replaceable. So I'm just surprised that people are thinking like, oh, why are they rioting? We're rioting because our voice is not heard. And our voice is going to get heard sooner than later. Best believe it's going to get heard. And I guess the funny part of the whole situation is I had I got a Twitter feed back home and whatnot, back in like the tri-state area, Delaware, Jersey, Philly, Maryland, and everything. I saw a dude dressed as Batman arising from the smoke.
I did see
and
that.
I don't know why. I'm like, this is a serious matter right now, but that definitely kind of put like a smile on my face. They were like, he's here. I'm like, so we're riding right now. You dressed as Batman. That was your idea. I said, that's creative. Wrong timing, but it was creative. I'm not even gonna lie to you. That put a little smile on my face, probably for the wrong reasons. But you got to find some place to smile and laugh. Somewhere, someplace.
Oh, for sure. No, for sure. And those are really good points as well. No, you and Sean started off. Y'all both of y'all's points are super strong, super strong, and I think those are things that people for sure need to hear. Dawson, how are you feeling, bro? Like, what has been your thoughts, or what is something that stood out to you the most when it comes to the riots and when it comes to just whether it's people around you, things they're saying, or things you're seeing on social media? Like, what stood out to you the most?
I think the largest standout with the riots is how many people are condemning the riots that also condemn Kaepernick and other people for peacefully protesting. That said a lot. That to me was very telling. And what that told me is, there is no appeasing these people. There is no way to have this conversation intellectually. So when you're beyond words, you turn to actions. And we tried explaining that the kneeling wasn't disrespectful to the troops. It's crazy how you could draw that parallel. Like, Black people didn't serve in the military as well. But yeah, the amount of people who just are condemning these riots, that condemn the peaceful protests, it was really shocking and telling. And like I said before, man, a lot of people exposed themselves. Their true colors came out, like a Drew Brees. When you had an opportunity to make a statement to bring people together, to unify during these times, you chose the latter. You chose the selfish way. You put your personal beliefs in front of the needs of everyone else. And the needs of everyone else is peace. Like, there won't be any growth until this is peacefully resolved. And no peace will come until they acknowledge us and acknowledge our plight and what we're going through. And if that's to come through the riots, then so be it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That is probably something that for sure caught my attention, especially when ESPN's been doing their best to still have content out. even while sports are not necessarily a thing. And the fact that, they were bringing up Colin Kaepernick, like, dang, like, I forgot who it was, but, someone came out and actually admitted, like, dang, Cap, I was wrong. 4 years ago, you tried to make a point. I forget his name. But he came out. Yeah, like he came out and he said, you tried to make a change 4 years ago. And now I feel like, man, maybe if we had just taken you seriously and what your actual point was, maybe George would still be here and things like that. So that was for sure. That was telling. Lou, what about you, bro? I know, like, me and you had talked earlier this week, and there were a lot of we had a lot to say, but, like, just considering, obviously, we're kind of through the weekend and now going into this week, what has stood out to you the most?
I told you, bro. I've been mad as hell for like 2 weeks, man. It's just a lot going on. And what stood out to me, because when this happened, what I like to do is I like to research everything. Like, I don't speak. You notice I haven't really posted a lot of stuff. I might share some of my story, or I might share something that somebody else said, but I don't post myself, except for on Twitter every now and then, because it's just this is a quick thought right here from something that I saw. So I just been doing research, and while I've been doing research, I just went back to the last time, the major time they listened to black people, 60s in the civil rights movement, right? So I've been looking at a lot of the speeches and the talks from the civil rights movement, from Malcolm X to James Baldwin to all these guys, Martin Luther King, Fred Hampton, and them. Listen to all these guys, and one thing I've noticed is they're saying the exact same things we're all saying now, and that was 60 years ago. That was before most of our parents were born, if I'm not mistaken, if not all of our parents. That was during our grandparents' time, and they're still saying the same thing, and they're still trying to fight for the same thing. So that's why I've been frustrated, and not to disrespect y'all points or nothing, because I don't mean to do that at all, because I hear it a lot. When people say not all cops are bad, I understand that. However, when we've experienced that when somebody messes up, everybody got to bear the brunt of it. So I don't want to hear all cops aren't bad, this isn't that isn't that. If the institution itself is bad, then it must be changed. I don't care if there's 1, 2 people. I don't care if 75% of the department ain't bad. The 25 is. And if the 25 is, then that's a problem. Across the country, all black people have the same story. None of us are really from the same area, except me and Sample, ironically. But most of us are from different areas in this country. And yet, we have the same exact story. I remember being afraid of the police. I remember doing this with the police. So I'm done saying all cops aren't bad and all this aren't bad because, there are black cops and there are these cops. It's whatever at this point. The entire institution needs to be changed, in my point. I've seen, I stay on Twitter. I think Twitter is a great platform for information. Not all good information. You got to research that because some people just be talking out their neck. But when you get on Twitter, you start to see a lot of videos. And what I've seen is, even during the peaceful protests, cops are messing people up, spitting on people, throwing tear gas at people, beating people with clubs, looking around to see if they're recording before they beat somebody up in an alleyway. That's what they're doing. So I don't like hearing all cops aren't bad, because cops have been bad since the institution of police. Yeah, I've been doing my research. There were no cops until like 100 years ago. There were like sheriffs and marshals and all that stuff. But towns itself, they didn't have all that. They came from people trying to get slaves and round slaves back up together. Like, it is literally built on the foundation of getting black people corralled. That's what it is, and that's what it continues to be. So I wouldn't say to us a surprise, because I've known a lot of this stuff for years. But when you start to actually experience it for yourself, and you start to look and you start to say, "Damn," Malcolm X literally said that. There's something he said. When we go through something, they tell us to suffer and suffer longer. How long can you suffer? How long can you wait until something happens? When white people do something, they tell us, hey, it's cool, we'll fix it. Why are we giving them the choice to fix themselves? They're never going to fix themselves. You got to demand that. And if we're not demanding that, it's nothing. So it's cool with the protests. It's cool with the petitions. I think people should do that more. They should donate. But we have to start demanding things of the people who are supposed to be in charge of us. And if they are not doing right by us, then we need to get them out of here. And I don't just mean by voting. I mean, if they're a Democrat, they're Republican, if they're whatever they are, get them out of here, because they're not for us. We've seen that they're not for us. Amy Klobuchar, She's a Democrat. She said nothing about the George Floyd stuff. I mean, she said some stuff, but she didn't act. They just got arrested today. It's been, what, 9 days? It's been 9 days. They should have been arrested immediately. If me and you were to go rob a bank, even if I didn't know you was robbing a bank and I drove the getaway car, I'm still going to be arrested. But these guys didn't do nothing until today. Come on, man. That is my issue. That's why like I've been mad, because I've just been hearing all that, and it's like, I get it. It's a comfortable thing to say, but I'm not in the business of making people comfortable no more. Like, anybody that's talked to me in the last couple of weeks, they know I've been going on. I've been not going off on them, but I've been having the same conversation. So that's just that's where I'm at, and that's where I'm going to continue to be at until something actually happens. Because every day I look at my daughter, and I know we got 4 fathers in here. I look at my daughter. I know y'all look at y'all kids, and y'all say, "Man, I got to prepare you for this." I shouldn't have to prepare my daughter for something. She's 3 months old. I shouldn't have to prepare her for that. Yet I do. With these protests going on, it reminded me. I've been in my bubble thanks to this quarantine, not having to worry about nothing. But in a few years, something's going to happen, inevitably, and I'm going to have to be like, hey, let me have this conversation with you. And I don't want to do that. I want her to enjoy her life. But I have, like Anthony said earlier, we gotta grow up quick. So it's cool. You can be a child, but you have to be cognizant as a black child, you know? So that's what I've been at. Protests and all that, burn it all down. They've been tearing down Confederate monuments in the South. They should have been doing that. You know, they burned an auction house in Fayetteville. They should have been done that. I'm all for it. I like, hey, be safe. I'm not telling you to kill nobody or do whatever, but if you mad, burn it down. Who cares? They don't care. They've never cared. So don't appease nobody. Do what makes you feel good right now, because that's all they've been doing for years.
Hey, Mike, hold on. Before you continue,
go for it.
I just got an update on news. Final autopsy report reveals George Floyd had coronavirus, but died from cardiopulmonary arrest. They had to throw he had corona.
Here's my response. Here's my response to that, Sam. Yeah, honest to God, here's my response. And I said it. I don't remember if I said it to Lou or Smitty, but here's my response, bro. If I had pre-existing conditions for COVID, right, and I died, they would say that he died to COVID. Makes sense. Yeah. What doesn't make sense right now is that they're blaming George Floyd's death on the pre-existing conditions and not the fact that there was a knee on his neck. That doesn't make any sense. Y'all can't have it both ways. Y'all can't have it both ways. So I'm not falling for that.
No. So even if he did have those pre-existing medical conditions, he would not have died if he was not put in that stressful position. It is irrelevant. He will be alive today. It doesn't matter.
Right. Absolutely.
We're not stupid. They think we're stupid.
Also note that they had to do a private autopsy for them to even mention the fact that he choked to death.
Yes.
That's another problem.
Yeah, they tried to deny that.
The city medical examiner. That is another problem. But again, I'm gonna let somebody else go.
That first autopsy, man, that was just
I just had to address that.
I'm glad you did. I'm glad somebody brought that up, because that first one was bullshit. Like, how can he not choke to death when there's a grown man kneeling on his throat? There's gonna be some trauma.
Man's got 100 pounds on his neck. Any person that has 100 pounds on their neck is gonna struggle. And not only that, it's not like it's 100 pounds and he's standing up. Like he's already on the pavement.
Yeah.
I've actually been pretty quiet when it came to that when that first autopsy came out. Like, I knew it was bull, but I was like, let me just let that go.
That was the shit that made me mad, because I was like, here they go.
But Stamp that report, bro. Like, I'm not even entertaining that report, dog. Like, that's not even against you. I'm not entertaining that report, because we saw that. We saw what happened.
I just love the fact that they were like, hey, he did, choked. He did get choked to death, but he did have corona. Come on, bro. That
it's irrelevant, bro. It's irrelevant.
Every time
if they would have did right, he would have been alive.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. No, I'm gonna be real with y'all. Like the same thing I asked y'all as far as like the writing and stuff like that. There were particular things, man, that I can't. Okay, first, and Avery knows, Lou knows exactly where I'm going when I say this. Y'all, I'm done making people feel comfortable, specifically white people. And there are a lot of people that I've gotten personal messages from. Y'all know I'm an artist, right? I've gotten messages from people saying like, yo, we're so disappointed in you. We had you out on our event. We had you speaking to our kids. You went to our church, yada, yada. Disappointed in me. And what's funny is the average person I think would have got upset about that. You know why I'm not upset? Is because what it only showed me is they were okay with me because they felt like I was their safe black guy. They're safe black person.
Hey man,
that they
a hit
felt
dog gonna holler.
right. So they in some way, shape, or form, they got comfortable and they thought I wasn't gonna say what I've experienced. They thought I wasn't gonna say how I feel, etc. And that's anyone that knows me, that's the opposite of who I am. Like even when I'm wrong, yo, I'm still gonna let you know how I feel. Like that's just who I am. And so like that was a telling thing. One, I'm not here to make anyone feel comfortable no more. Like I'm sick of losing people, bro. Like I'm like, if we're keeping it a buck, like that could have been y'all. You feel me? Like that could have been y'all. That could have been my family members. That could have been like my other homies. Like my best friend. Like I don't have him because of situations like this. I wear his chain every single day, whether I'm in uniform or out of it. So like when I see people try to belittle or try to hijack the narrative, that joint pisses me off, man. Because I need people to understand this. Black people, we are not responsible for white people's emotions and y'all's feelings. Like we're not responsible. All we know is what we've experienced, what we've seen, all that other stuff. Stop trying to make us responsible for y'all's feelings. That's not our job. That's not our job. Now, are we trying to make y'all feel guilty, like about slavery and all this stuff? We're not trying to make you feel guilty. Look, I don't want someone to feel guilty for something they're actually not responsible for. But where I do want you to feel conviction is if you are sitting by the sidelines thinking that this isn't your fight. I'm glad Steve Kerr is the one who said it. He recently said, this is a white person's issue. This is like, why are we expecting black people to change something? They're the ones being oppressed. They're not the oppressor. And why is it that like we're always asked to fix our own problems? Like why are black people always asked to fix issues that we never started? Oh, well, y'all need to stop doing drugs and stuff like that. Well, who put drugs in our neighborhoods? Who did that? Like who like, well, y'all need to stop looting. Who did we learn looting from? It always comes back to them. Like this issue, I understand that there's some people that try to say the whole all lives matter, yada, yada. You need to check yourself. You need to check yourself because in what way, shape, or form does that help the discussion? If your brother, if your sister, and if they're hurting, what you saying black on black crime to me doesn't mean a thing. I had to have that argument with someone else because that's not a real thing. They're like, well, there are more white people that are killed by cops, right? I'm like, all right, so we got to do this. We got to do this. First of all, if you take it in totality, you're absolutely right. But guess what? Whites make up 60 to 65% of the country. At max, black people only make up 13%. So when you look at the ratio, that means we get killed 3 times more. And in Minnesota, it's 13 times more. Can y'all think about that for a minute? Like 13 times more in one state? That's ridiculous. So like I'm done. Like I'm okay with riots. And like y'all said, yo, if a building comes down, it comes down. And it's not that there are people that tried to, y'all know what our job is and what we do. There were people that commented and said, yeah, but those are businesses. People had their savings. They spent on that store, yada, yada. And I said, listen, as a music artist and entrepreneur, I get it. Yeah, they got insurance. And I'm like, yo, I get it. Like, I truly do get it. But if you expect me to be more upset about someone losing their business and over someone that actually died, like, that only showed me people's like priorities. And I'm glad Lou said it as far as kids, because here's what's crazy about it. There are literally people out here. I've seen some of my favorite like music artists come out and say like, yo, I'm scared because like I'm a white dude and my wife is black or mixed. And like, I gotta be a part of that. And I have to teach my kids. And in the comment section, there are other parents saying, that's not true. I'm not trying to make my kid a victim. I'm not going to tell them that people are going to treat them different because of their skin color. That is ignorance.
Let's see how that turns out.
That is ignorance. Like, I don't know about y'all, but I'm personally still alive because my parents had those conversations with me. Like, right, like, bro, like we had to have those conversations. What Lou said and what AJ said earlier is we gotta grow up quick, especially black males, because we just can't do regular stuff all the time. I got homies, like, I know when we ride through certain neighborhoods, we got to turn down our music. Why? Because someone's going to end up pulling us over. My brother's in the Navy. When he bought his first car, he was happy as a mug. He's like, yo, I want to put rims on it, yada, yada. And as soon as he mentioned putting 10 on his car, I was like, bro, I don't think that's a good idea. And I didn't even have to explain why. Like, he knew that it'd be a higher chance for him to get pulled over. He had tinted windows. Are there people with tinted windows that are black? Absolutely. But it's different. You're still playing Russian roulette with your life when you do that. And so, like, the fact that we go through these experiences, and I'm literally seeing people trying to diminish it by throwing in little things like that. Oh, well, all cops not bad. Oh, well, that it's a hard job. It's a yada yada. If it's too hard, get out the job. That's what you were trained for. I'm not trying to hear that. Like, keep your people accountable. Y'all, like, we're the first ones to try to keep athletes accountable. Like, let me get this right. Like, y'all down for black culture. Y'all down for black music. Y'all say the N-word when y'all playing y'all's music. Don't act like y'all don't. All those things. But as soon as it comes to Black Matters, y'all ain't nowhere to be seen. Keep it a buck. Keep it 100, bro. We know what y'all doing. Like, we know what y'all doing. Like, how do y'all love black culture more than y'all love black people?
Oh, shit. Go ahead, Mike.
I don't know. I might be wilding. That's just me. I don't get it, bro.
Hell no, you're not wilding, bro. Cause it's all facts, in my opinion. Like when you hear it, man, that's exactly what goes on. Like, and be wary of the people who randomly are coming out, because one thing I don't want to happen is this become a trend. Because trends die, and in 2 or 3 weeks, people are gonna be like, and we're back to our regular life. For us, this is every day. And what I'm seeing is it is a trend. When I saw that black square thing yesterday, I didn't participate. Not because I don't agree, or not because of any of that. I understand the intent, but to me, it was just a little bit. It was a little bit silly. Like, I'm gonna post a black square. I know. Listen, if you had to post a black square to let people know that you were down with this, then what was the point? Like, there was a lot of people. There was a lot of people, man. Remember when, like, Notre Dame burned down? I'm gonna make my profile picture, we support Notre Dame. Don't do a damn thing for it. But you see me doing it, so therefore you know I'm for it. And I don't want that to happen, because this ain't no fucking building.
Right.
This is people's lives. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And the only thing I want to challenge you on, it's not just black men. I know that's what is in there. It's black people. Like, I don't want to.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to do that.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Because and I know you know that. It's just, I don't want somebody to hear it and then they're like, but nah, we understand completely. Like, I look at my wife, I know y'all look at y'all girls, or y'all look at y'all daughters, y'all look at, y'all moms, y'all aunties, y'all grandmas, and y'all like, damn, this is for real. It's just that black men are seen as a threat more often than none, for no damn reason. Black women are seen as a threat more often than not, for no goddamn reason. And it don't make no fucking sense. And it's simply because we're darker. The fuck is that?
Hey, Lou, to your point about the black screens. To your point about the black screens, I just thought, like you, I don't think that brings any real change to what we're trying to accomplish right now. But I do think that it's a good practice of solidarity. And that's not something we've had a lot of in the black community. Just getting everybody on the same page. And, this is a baby step, but it's still a step in the right direction of getting us all on the same course. And, maybe the next thing could be is they can start posting, different links on how to support or where to reach out, or, whatever comes from it. But just us getting on the same page is huge.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll explain my slight absence. My boss called me in regards to what was going on, just to make sure everything was good. So I just talked to him a little bit. And, but yeah, so I'll start off with something I read that Chris Rock had said. I don't know if it was recently or from one of the other many police
I remember
murders.
Right.
That
His stand-up.
We can't, not everybody. You can't just say, oh, we just got a few bad apples or whatever. Like, some jobs, you can't have a few bad apples. Like, you can't have a pilot who was like, most of our pilots are good. We have a few bad apples. Sometimes they land, and then sometimes they like to, crash in the mountains. Sometimes everybody kind of needs, everybody needs to be good at their job. Like a doctor, you can't have like we got like a 75% success rate on our, on our heart doctors or brain surgeons. Really? So, that's one of the things. Two, one of the things that's standing out that I feel like a lot of people aren't really, I wouldn't say that they're not paying attention to, but isn't really getting enough media attention, is that the KKK has also injected themselves in a lot of these integrated riots, and that they're snatching up Black people left and right, and nobody knows where they're at. And that's not getting enough media attention at all. Some of the other things that I feel like a lot of people have forgotten, which was actually done years ago, thinking about what Lewis brought up about like Malcolm X speeches and whatnot, is that nobody has actually tried to go to the international court about what the United States government is allowing to happen. Because like the way that Trump is talking and the way that essentially the United States government is allowing the police to kill African Americans at such an alarming rate. And this is only the 409, like they say that it's 493. That's only 493 cases that people actually know about. Y'all probably never even heard about that young Black man in Arkansas some years ago that somehow, while he was handcuffed, sitting in the back of a squad car, shot himself in the back of the head with a shotgun. Now, you physically explain to me how he can accomplish that.
I read about that today,
just to your point about the UN stuff, I looked that up too, because I was curious about how you could bring up somebody for human rights violations. It actually has to go through like all the courts. Like you got to bring that up. Supreme Court got to rule on it, and if they rule negatively on it, then you can bring it up to the UN and then have them done for that.
Which has been years. We've done that multiple times.
Yeah. Well, if it has been, then someone can be like, hey, these are all the cases. But that's what it takes. I was also curious because I was like, at this point, this isn't even just like a Black issue. This is human rights. Like this is literally human rights for this country. But that's just something I Googled a few days ago.
Well, yeah, I mean, because think about it. It's really bad when the entire world is protesting. It's not even just us. You got folks in Middle Eastern countries that they hate America, but it's like, damn, are y'all ever gonna give the Blacks a break? I mean, I'm glad y'all get kind of giving us a break after murdering us mercilessly, but are you ever gonna give them a break? So when I hear about folks in Iran protesting, when Israel and Palestine actually take a break from killing each other so that they can protest about what's going on here, that's the problem. That's pretty bad. And then the other thing that it's a hope and a fear at the same time, because I know June 7th. It's supposed to be like blackout. We're supposed to try and take money out of, big white businesses' pockets, which I think is a great idea. Another great idea is either try and funnel that trillions of dollars into other Black businesses and start our own. I mean, we all know about Black Wall Street. Why don't we do that again? Because for one, you're not going to get away with bombing another Black Wall Street quietly. There's cameras now. And now we actually got guns. You can't just come through peacefully and try and do that. So it's either we need to start creating our own Black infrastructure for us, like white people have been doing, even though they say, oh, everybody can live here. No, we can't. So we need to start building up our own Black businesses, types of Black Walmarts, even our own like Black social media or whatever, so that we can sustain ourselves. And it's like, hey, I got my own Black cops too to police my own area, just like you got your own white cops to police your area, even though for whatever reason you think that they can come in and police mine too, which they're failing at doing. Or what we need to do, especially like when it comes to picking like who's president, senator, representative, congressman, is we need to start fucking trying to invest and a lot of these larger white companies. So then you can have majority black shareholders instead of majority white shareholders.
Thanks for watching Free Lunch on YouTube, and be sure to subscribe for more content.